My grandfather was a very important part of my life. He was there when we needed him to be there, and he's always been a absolutely amazing community member, a stalwart member of our family, probably the steadiest, him and my grandma, the steadiest influences on our lives. You know, he fought in the war. He was highly decorated in the war. Once we learned about his war service, he forbid us to speak of it. He received a number of medals. He received the Bronze Cross from the government of the Netherlands for valor in Holland. And you know, I think about that, and I think he was in a Bren carrier, which is a three-person vehicle with an open top in the liberation of Holton. So you know, in about 3, 4 weeks from today, 80 years ago, he was in that carrier, and they were ambushed by the Nazis. Ernest England, Sergeant Ernest England, he's buried in row one, grave one, plot one of the Holton Cemetery in Canada. You know, he was immediately killed, decapitated. The other gentleman, Trooper Albert Bashensky, was in the vehicle next to him. He eventually died. My grandfather was able to get him out. Luckily, of course, my grandfather survived. Um, and I just kind of think about the sacrifice of those two men a lot. And we'll be there in the Netherlands, and we'll see them in Holton when we're there this spring. Um, And we have to remember why they fought and why these men, these young men, gave their lives. And I think that's important. And I don't think we should ever forget it. And we can talk about this being a hockey game, but we can also talk about what our best friend's doing right now. And I think we need to talk to the American people, not the American government. And I think our government and everyone in Canada needs to come together. We need perfect unity right now more than ever because of the sacrifices of the men that walked up our beach, that walked. There's 450,000 Canadians that served in World War II. Almost all of them were volunteers. 45,000 of them perished. That's what our museum represents, their memory, their honor, why they fought. Freedom, sovereignty, democracy, the basic principles of society that frankly, we must fight for. The Ukrainians have been fighting for. And so I think there is a bigger backdrop here that matters. And if it is a hockey game where we can walk around and try to tell Americans and Canadians to remind them why this matters, then that's why I'm here. And I'm very proud to do it. The Juno Beach Centre will survive. You know, the condo fight was a big, tough fight for us, but we are planning some fairly large things here. We've got a relaunch of our campaign on June 6th, D-Day, that I'm really excited to tell people about eventually, and we're finding support from Canadians, and that's what we can ask for. That's why we do it, and I just remind Canadians to remind themselves why it matters.